What's up, guys? Gonna get started in just a second here. All right, let's get this party rolling. How are you guys doing? It is January 23rd, Sunday, almost the last Sunday of the month. Hold on, I need to adjust my audio here a little bit. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm not doing too bad. It's been a pretty good, productive start to the Sunday already. Went to the gym, got a workout in, came home, watching my brother's dog for the next few days. So took his husky, Ava, on a little walk. And then got in a little bit of a quick lunch before starting the stream. Here we go. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. Probably going to be a bit of a shorter stream today since there's really only one thing that I wanted to talk about today. And it was Josh Zepps, who was on Joe Rogan recently, who I really enjoy. I like Josh Zepps. I've listened to him once before, haven't listened to him on this most recent podcast, but I'll get around to it. Just been, one, I haven't been listening to many podcasts lately in general, but then two, also been trying to catch up on some other ones that are a little bit more important to me right now at the moment, which I'll go ahead and recommend to you guys. If you happen to have any knee issues, any sort of knee pain, check out the Joe Rogan Experience episode with Ben Patrick. I'm about halfway through it right now. He's known on social media as Knees Over Toes. But in it, he talks about some of the knee issues that he used to have when he was in high school, college, and he's basically completely healed himself of any issues. And he has this protocol that he does where he pulls a sled and walks backwards. And kind of pretty perfect timing because I've been having a knee issue in my left knee for the past couple of months. Nothing too crazy. Like, you would never know if you were around me. You know, even if I was doing some pretty active stuff, you would never know. But it's just whenever I get into like a really deep squat, like an Asian squat, where, you know, your ass is basically like inches off the ground, when I try to get out of that squat, my left knee just hurts a little bit. It's not like excruciating pain. It's not a pain so bad I can't squat out of it, but just, you know, it's there and it's been lingering long enough to where I'm like, okay, maybe I should take some measures to address this. And I've been doing the backward sled pulls at the gym for 3 days now. So I'll keep doing it, and hopefully I'll have a stronger squat and stronger knees in a couple of months' time, and we'll see. But yeah, just in case any of you out there are having knee issues and you're kind of just living with it, check out that episode. Really give it a listen, and maybe that'll help you out. But while we're on the topic of knees over toes and social media, going back to the whole social media algorithms video that I saw on Rogan with Josh Zepps, there is this constant, you know, question. I feel like it's kind of just been out there for the past few years, especially once Trump was, leading up to Trump's election as president. There's been this like ongoing kind of idea discussion about whether or not we should be regulating social media algorithms. And it might not surprise me. It might not surprise you if you've been listening to me for a long time, but I am definitely against this idea of regulating social media algorithms. One, I don't want the government to be involved in that. I don't think they would do a very good job of it. And who's to say they're going to have a very, good bar as to what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed. COVID, I think, has opened people's eyes to that a little bit. So that would be the first thing. If you're going to have the government running social media algorithms, what kind of things related to COVID would be allowed and wouldn't be allowed? But take that out of the equation. Let's not focus on a specific example of this is why I would be worried. What about critical race theory? What about, COVID-19? Any of that. We'll remove all of the topics entirely. We'll just talk very generically here. I believe the reason social media algorithms shouldn't be regulated is because social media algorithms are largely a reflection of your habit. They are a reflection of you. They are maybe an exaggerated version of you. Now, what do I mean by that? And what am I talking about when I'm referring to algorithms? When I'm talking about algorithms here, I'm not talking about, me and my girlfriend are on the couch talking about, I don't know, like CBD gummies. Babe, have you ever taken CBD gummies? No, I haven't. Do you know anybody who has? Yeah, my friend said they're really good. She sleeps a lot better. The first time we've ever talked about CBD gummies ever. And then we both log on to Instagram, Facebook later that night. And what do you know? Our feeds are filled with CBD gummies. I'm not talking about that type of social media algorithm. I'm talking about Instagram, the explore page. You have your feed and then you have the explore page where it's like, here's all this stuff we're recommending to you that we think you'll like. Or on Twitter, I believe they do this too. If you go to like the trending page, they always have the trends up top. But then after that, they kind of have some topics that you're interested in. Like I'm looking right now. I'll go ahead and pull this up real quick. Right now, there's the For You, all the big trending stuff. John Stockton didn't wear a mask. Donald Trump still is alive. The Packers lost last night. Son of a bitch. That does suck. But then you go down here, they give you a couple of like recommendations on who to follow. And then there are some topics: the Joe Rogan Experience, fitness, UX design, open source. Do you notice a trend here? You guys probably notice a trend, and we've never had like a face-to-face conversation with each other. Everything you know about me is through this YouTube channel or through my Twitter or through my Instagram. But this is a reflection of me. Joe Rogan, well, I follow him on Twitter. I interact with a lot of Joe Rogan related material on Twitter, apparently. Fitness, that's a lot of my tweets. I follow a lot of fitness accounts. UX design, it wouldn't surprise me if that goes away in a few months or maybe, by the end of the year. But all of these are related to me. To say that social media algorithms should be regulated is to say you don't like a caricaturized, exaggerated version of yourself. If you don't like the stuff that's being recommended to you on social media, when you go to your explore page, on Instagram or Twitter, if you don't like what you're seeing, you need to take a step back and examine your behavior online, because that is being driven by you. You are the one that determines that page. More often than not, every once in a while, maybe they'll sneak some stuff in. But in general, I mean, to have those high level topics, Joe Rogan, fitness, UX design, like, that means they kind of know who I am based on my behavior on Twitter. So if you're seeing a bunch of people screaming left and right about politics, if you see a bunch of people just bickering about a bunch of nonsense, you go to your Explore page on Instagram, it makes you depressed. You're like, oh my God, I don't like this. Rethink what you're clicking on. Because social media algorithms are actually one of the most valuable things today if you leverage it correctly. For example, I was learning Korean at one point. I mean, I still kind of am, not really. But at one point, I was like really in on it. And I was watching videos, tips on how to learn Korean. And one of the videos that I watched, they recommended creating a separate YouTube account or a separate Instagram account. And let's say you create a separate YouTube account. They say change the language to Korean and then search on YouTube, like how to learn Korean, Korean alphabet, explained, like just a bunch of random Korean shit. And then they're like, your entire recommended feed is going to be related to Korean learning materials. And I've seen this in action. Like, I wasn't always into calisthenics, but once I started getting into calisthenics, my Instagram Explore page completely changed because of all the stuff that I was interacting with. It's probably based on a bunch of stuff, like view time, liking stuff, commenting on stuff. But eventually they say, okay, he's spending a lot of time here. Let's give him more of that. You can turn it into a valuable learning resource if you use it correctly. So I feel like this is similar to, somebody complaining about how much weight they're gaining, but then not taking an honest look at what's in their kitchen. Or somebody complaining that, their life isn't going right, their relationships are a mess, everybody around them's a dickhead, but then not taking the step back and realizing, oh, I'm around a bunch of toxic people. I don't even like these people. I've just kind of gotten into this habit of, well, these are the people around me, this is who I should be hanging out with, rather than saying, like, or even taking the time to, like, write it down. What does this person add to my life? What do they not add to my life? What do I like about them? What do I not like about them? Is this person worth having in my life? But rather than taking the time to actually look at what you're doing, people are just like, well, we need to regulate social media algorithms. If all you're getting is a bunch of bullshit related to COVID, if all you're getting is people screaming at each other left and right, people talking about how everybody needs to get vaccinated, go get your 75th booster, it's totally essential, and then another side that refuses to accept that COVID even exists, you're clicking on that shit. That's what you don't like. I mean, apparently that's what you don't like, but you keep dipping into it. So if you see something, if it's a clickbaity thing, or if you're like, oh, that irritates me, but let me see what this is about, you've created that habit. And those small little steps, those small little actions add up. Because if this was like a reasonable human being, they might take that and be like, okay, he just wanted to see what that was about. We'll ignore that click. But an algorithm, machine learning, they can't tell the difference between what is a genuine, oh my God, I'm interested in this. Let me click this and see what this is about, as opposed to, I'm outraged. Let me see what this is about. A tap is a tap. You touch your screen to open it. You've expressed a level of interest. So we need to stop. Again, let me just be perfectly clear. I'm not talking about the eavesdropping on your conversations. I'm not talking about Alexa or Siri listening to your conversation. You're like, babe, should we get a Peloton? I don't know. It's a lot of money, but I really hate going to the gym. It's like a 20-minute drive, 20-minute drive back. If I'm there for 30 minutes, that's like almost an hour and a half. Like, I think if we get a Peloton, I'll be more motivated to just work out, because then I could just walk to my garage, hop on for 30 minutes, hop off, boom, back to work. And then later that night, you're getting ads for Peloton. That I don't agree with. That I wish would stop happening as often. Or at least, opt into it. Like, yeah, listen to my conversations. I don't care. If there's cool products, I'll take it. Different thing. But if it's all user-driven shit, you're the problem. So take the time today. If you're using Twitter, if you're using YouTube, if you're using Instagram, when you check out those recommended videos, if you're checking out those recommended posts and you don't like what you see, maybe you've gotten into a bad habit of clicking on stuff you don't really care to click on. Maybe you need to stop clicking on the political posts and start clicking on the how to code Twitter accounts. You get my point? Really stop to think before you're clicking, because that is what's driving those algorithms, and that is what's determining what's being recommended to you. YouTube's a great example of this. Sometimes YouTube just serves me up 8 videos and I'm like, oh my God, which one do I click? These are all super interesting to me. I want to watch all of these. But then sometimes, you go down, you'll watch one video on YouTube, and then it thinks you want 50 more of those. And I kind of want to be like, hey, that was a one-off. Like, yeah, I watched dash cam video accidents one time, but I don't want to watch 10 more videos. I just watched one because I was like, oh my God, the thumbnail. Look at that. I wonder if he died. Nope, that was just a really bad accident. But then your YouTube algorithm changes, and that's all you get. But more often than not, your YouTube is a reflection of what your... Whoops. I unplugged my headphone cable. Your YouTube video is a reflection of what you're watching, what you're interacting with. Same with Instagram, same with Twitter. So take a step back, really reconsider why you're seeing what you're seeing, and maybe you could take some proactive measures to switch that algorithm up a little bit. Fried Rice says, I searched for the apartment building my dad lives in to get the address, and now I'm always getting ads to lease an apartment at that building. Yeah. See, it happens. There's stuff like that that is annoying, right? Like, I briefly, maybe somebody tells me, hey, have you ever heard of this thing? And I'm like, no. And I just, quickly Google it, and I'm like, oh, interesting. I didn't know that exists. Close. And then I'm getting ads for 2 or 3 days. That's annoying. And I think everybody would kind of agree that's a little bit annoying. But that's not something where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be subjected to this for the rest of the year. If I don't buy this after a month, it's probably going to go away. But your Explore page, that you do have control over. So take the time to rethink what you're looking at before you just start bitching and calling for the government to start regulating stuff. Because that's never going to be good. All right, like I said, today's video is going to be a short one. I just had one quick topic I wanted to discuss. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm wrong? Have you used these algorithms to actually help you? Because I have. I've done that before. In fact, my YouTube is like that right now because of some of the Final Cut Pro tutorials, Adobe InDesign tutorials, and I'm just getting bombarded. top 10 Final Cut Pro plugins you didn't know you needed. Like sometimes it's good shit. So I think we've all been down those rabbit holes. So let me know. And if you disagree, definitely let me know why. I'm curious because I can't get out of the thought that these are determined by you. And if you don't like what you're seeing, you don't like what you're clicking on. You're just not fully conscious of what you're clicking on. Anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. I will be back next Sunday, January 30th. As always, 2 p.m. Eastern here. Fried rice. Thank you so much for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. Sorry you got in a little late, and sorry I'm ending a little early. But like I said, I just had this one topic I really wanted to get off my chest. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of the NFL playoffs. Rest of the division round going on tonight. Sorry, I'm geeking out over football right now. Anyways, you guys have a good one. Enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See ya.